Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about wine. Yep, you heard me. How fun, right? So basically, if you love wine but don't love standing in the store trying to figure out what the label says, today I'm going to be breaking down some wine subscription options. So let's see what's out there today. So, once upon a time, services like Bright Cellars used to promise to take the guesswork out of wine by delivering curated bottles straight to your door. And for many people like myself, and especially new wine drinkers, that can be super helpful. But unfortunately, Bright Cellars technically doesn't exist, at least as it once did. So today you might be familiar with Wink, and it doesn't coincidentally have the very similar palate quiz if you remember Bright Cellars, was popular for. So that's because Wink absorbed much of what Bright Cellars did in terms of the quiz at the beginning. And it was done because its parent company acquired both of them, being Wink and Bright Cellars, among others, in late 2024. So technically, if you're a Bright Cellars member, you didn't lose access to a wine service, but things did change and everything was funneled through Wink as it is today. So that happened when it was acquired, and although it used to be standalone, this is kind of when all that happened. So here's the thing. Although Bright Cellars is not a direct standalone option today, and Wink is, there is also so many other options on the market for wine lovers. And if you don't love the new Wink service that you may have been adopted into when Bright Cellars was acquired, you might be looking for something new now, or you might just be new to wine services or wine drinking in general and might be wondering what else is out there. Let me tell you about the different options available on the market today. Okay, so let's first back it up a little bit and talk about what makes a great wine subscription service. So before getting into those specific services, what actually separates good wine subscription services is that the wine quality matters first. So great subscriptions work with reputable producers. They focus on the wine and the actual product in the bottle versus the packaging and the marketing and the branding and what will stand out on a shelf. Second of all, transparency and education. So knowing where your wine comes from and why it was chosen is a part of the experience and also makes it more fun and rewarding for you as the member. The third thing that you should look for is the value for money. So it's not just about discounts, but also like continuously receiving the worth for the price. And that will be all up to you as an individual. And it might not be the same for a friend or somebody else as it is for you. Lastly, or finally, flexibility. So the ability to skip shipments, swap bottles out, change different kinds of wines, or even cancel without it being a big hassle or continuing a long-term commitment. So looking for things like satisfaction guarantees or free shipping are great options to look for. Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at the wine subscription service options today. So there are a plethora of options available in 2026. We talked a little bit earlier about a couple of those options, and the first one we talked about was Bright Cellars and how that is now being offered through Wink. So if you were a Bright Cellars member, you were then adopted into the Wink branding, where they no longer have standalone services. They are now one through Wink. So Wink did adopt that same quiz formatting that Bright Cellars had. So if you liked that quiz formatting, then Wink might be a good option to either stay with or check out if you're new. That kind of makes it customizable, and members really like that. In terms of other great things about Wink, each shipment you can skip bottles, swap bottles, skip deliveries entirely, and you're never really locked in, so you don't have to stick to a ongoing monthly membership or 12-week membership. So That kind of is the standout features of Wink. And there's also just a really large there's also just a really large amount of wines to choose from. So my option number 2 that I'm going to talk about is called Wine Insiders. Wine Insiders is another really great option available today, and it consistently stands out for a really good reason. Where it differs from Wink's reliance on a quiz framework, thank you, Bright Cellars, Wine Insiders focuses on a more economical approach, including curated selections and rotating deals on their different wines. So essentially, you browse wines and choose what interests you, which gives you more control right from the start, but all for a flat rate cost. So this pricing model is one of its biggest strengths, in my opinion, and bottles are often far lower and below the traditional retail value, and there's no real pressure to commit to a long-term subscription either. So for wine drinkers who feel they've outgrown this quiz curated box framework but still want that convenience and value, Wine Insiders is a really nice balance for both of those things. Okay, so my option number 3 for you is called Firstleaf. So if you liked Bright Cellars' personalization aspect with the quiz, no wink, but want something a little more refined, Firstleaf could be a good option for you. So it still starts with a little quiz at the beginning, but the real difference is how it evolves over time. So subscribers rate each wine, and those ratings shape the future shipments that they receive. So out of some reviews, many users reported that over the course of their shipments, Firstleaf's recommendations actually became impressively accurate towards their taste. So one really cool thing also is that the detailed tasting notes and food pairing suggestions also make it appealing for wine drinkers who want to learn about their wine while they sip. Number 4 today is called Naked Wines. So Naked Wines is really cool because it directly supports winemakers. Naked Wines basically operates on a unique model that's different than the previous wine subscription services that I talked about, in that it actually has a introduction offer, but then after that you get to pay a monthly ongoing flat rate that then becomes what they call their angel membership. That monthly amount that you get charged is then credited to your account, and you can use that towards buying bottles of wine, which are discounted because of your membership. The really cool thing though is that that money is actually used as kind of like a startup fund for supporting their represented wine producers. So it is actually a really cool, and this kind of like direct to consumer approach is unlike the other ones on the market, in my opinion. And if you like that aspect of supporting winemakers, then this could be for you. Lastly, my next option for you today is called Winebox. So Winebox takes a different approach than the others in that it doesn't deliver full bottles. It actually delivers wine by the glass, or in cute little 100 milliliter single serve tubes. So this lets you sample a wide range of wines without committing to having an entire bottle that stays in your wine fridge for a really long time and never gets drank. It especially is popular with people who love to learn about wine, and since each shipment includes detailed information about the winemakers, regions, and tasting profiles, this is a really fun little thing to do, maybe if you get people together. It's also really cool to just discover new wines and kind of feel like you're at a tasting event, all in the comfort of your own home. At the end of the day, you might be asking, how do I choose? Well, choosing the right subscription really comes down to your own personal priorities. So I would start to think about things like if value and flexibility matter most to you, because then maybe Wine Insiders could be a great choice for you. You could also be thinking about personalization and how that kind of looks, and if over time you want your bottles to be curated. If so, maybe Firstleaf. But maybe if you want more control or more modern options, then Wink could be for you. There's so many different options out there today that truly there's something for everyone. Like if you want a glass of wine, Winebox might be the great option instead of getting full bottles. And we also talked about naked wines today, which is really cool because if you love to support local winemakers, then there's even that for you. So as you can see, there is just a variety of options, and choosing the right one is really up to you and what your preferences are. So while Bright Cellars may have introduced you to wine subscriptions, or you're new to subscriptions in general, remember that there are a ton of different options out there today, and they offer all different kinds of value, transparency, and flexibility. At the end of the day, there is really a subscription that fits everyone's taste. Cheers.